Let's look at WH words. Those can be very useful. Always double underline WH words. Question or otherwise. Now, do, that's a helping verb. We're going to put parentheses around that. You, well, that's the subject. I'm going to call that a subject. And I'm not going to get into nominative here so much. What do you want? There's our verb. Oops, I didn't circle it first. Don't tell my English teacher. We could change this around and say, tell me what you want. Well, we've got two different verbs here. Main verb here is tell me. Now, this is imperative. So what we don't have here is you, the unwritten subject. And by the way, there's our nominative. Tell me, you. Tell me, now this right here is going to be accusative because this is more of a sentence. Want is another verb. You want. Now this is nominative. Is it the main subject of the sentence? Well, that's another question. But this is all related to what? What you want becomes like one great big noun. So you tell me what you want. Now we can talk about which is the object and which is the direct and indirect object. It's easier to look at it that way. But this is a sentence form of that question. Same thing. We can see the difference here when we write it with these shapes. Let's compound this a little more. We're going to put in our beginning imperative here. So that can be our vocative. You tell me now this is going to be an object. Now some could argue that it's accusative. Some could argue that it's dative. It's one or the other. It's certainly not nominative. You've narrowed it down to these because it's an object, indirect object or direct object. We'll debate that more later. Double underline the WH's because of the doubleness. We're going to circle the verbs over here and their immediate subjects. So I'm going to put a little baby s here. As far as the want is concerned, you want, that's a baby nominative. What you want is a phrase. It operates like a great big noun. When you want what you want, this actually encompasses the other one, and it's a WH inside of a WH. Now, what is this? This is going to be accusative or dative. And it is an object. Now, which one is which? Ooh, that's a question that you have to answer yourself. But you're going to understand that much better if you use basic shapes. Let's do one last quick little look here at how we can use basic shapes to see what's happening in our English better. I write. Write is the verb. I is the subject. Okay. All right. I do write. There's our verb. Do is a helping verb. Here's I. I can write. That's basically the same thing. I want to write. Here, want is the actual verb. I is the subject, and this is an infinitive. I need to write. That's an infinitive. I like writing. Now, this is a fun one. Like is a verb. But writing has the ing. So we circle writing, but when we get to ing, we draw our box. Gerunds are like nouns and verbs together, so we've made a hybrid. I like writing. Now the way this works, we've got nominative, and then we've got accusative. This is our object, and that's our subject, even though writing is a verb. But it makes sense because we see that it's like a noun because we're drawing our basic shapes. So remember, for nouns, draw a box. For verbs, draw a circle. For adjectives, adverbs, and adjectives, I'm just going to write an A. Little triangle, or maybe other modifiers like genitives. For WH words, double underline. And of course, always link them with any prepositions. And when you have a phrase that follows a WH word, draw a big box around the whole thing.